as the night shrouds Jeongju City. Suddenly, the city's tranquility is shattered by an explosion of purple lightning, striking the central tower. A massive rift tears open above the city, from which an ancient, powerful warrior emerges. In response, the city's defenders, known as the 3rd Division, spring into action. This elite team, arrayed in battle gear, charges forward with determination etched on their faces. The depths of the rift, a powerful creature voices disdain, remarking on the humans' futile resistance. The creature identified as Huang Jin, a wolf king, expresses confidence in their inevitable victory, declaring that eradicating humanity is only a matter of time. As the 3rd Division makes a desperate stand, with determination in their eyes, they counterattack, despite the overwhelming might of the enemy. Amidst the ongoing battle, a key member of the 3rd Division questions if they are dealing with a C-class portal, hinting at the unexpected strength of their enemies. The battle escalates as the Wolf King, unfazed by human resistance, declares it's too late for any realizations. One brave warrior takes a stand, insisting on handling the Wolf King personally. This allows her comrades to focus on the remaining threats. Mr. Wenyuan, a pivotal ally, arrives just in time. Back at headquarters, an official notes the alarming frequency of C-class rifts appearing over Jeongju. This marks the 6th such event in a decade. In response, the decision is made to adapt the training and assessment of the city's defenders. The cultural exam scores for martial arts students will be halved, recognizing the need for more combat-ready individuals in the face of these recurrent threats. As the class in Jeongju's martial arts school is dismissed, the students engage in typical schoolyard banter. Inside, the conversations continue, revolving around academic pressures now intertwined with martial capabilities. A student laments the missed opportunity to sit next to Lin Yanren, a particularly admired classmate. Lin Yanren becomes the center of attention, not just for her beauty, but also as a symbol of the martial arts path. As peers inquire about her future plans, the Academy of Literature and the Martial Arts University is more than academic. It's about choosing a life path in a world where martial prowess can determine one's safety and status. Su Bai sits in the classroom, deep in thought, his book open but his mind elsewhere, faced with the decision of his future educational path. He recognizes that his average academic performance won't stand out at the Academy of Literature, and in a world increasingly defined by martial prowess, the relevance of traditional education seems diminished, caught between aspirations and realities. Su Bai discusses his family's financial limitations and the lack of any special talents, which make the option of attending the martial arts university seem unreachable. His frustration is palpable as he questions the fairness of a system that seems to favor those with inherent abilities or resources. As he engages in a wistful conversation with his peers, Su Bai muses about the concept of talent awakening in another world, hoping for a scenario where he could have special powers or a significant edge. In a surprising turn of events, Lin Yanren approaches Su Bai with an unexpected proposal. Sensing his despair and frustration with the limited options available due to his lack of special abilities or financial resources, Lin offers him an opportunity to join her at the Academy of Literature without needing to pass the traditional entrance exams. This gesture not only provides Su Bai a possible path forward, but also deepens their relationship. As Su Bai processes this unexpected lifeline, his world is further turned upside down by the sudden activation of a personal system, a common trope in fantasy and martial arts narratives where the protagonist gains access to a unique set of skills or abilities through a digital interface. This system classifies him as a beast tamer and provides detailed stats about his capabilities, including the potential to evolve his talents infinitely. Overwhelmed and unsure, Su Bai stands at the cusp of a new beginning, his previous concerns about his future momentarily overshadowed by the new and mysterious opportunities that the system might offer him. As Su Bai tries to comprehend the sudden appearance of a system interface only he can see, Lin Yanren concerned for his sudden distress. Despite his assurances that he's fine, the situation quickly escalates when a jealous classmate, infuriated by Su Bai's proximity to Lin, confronts them aggressively. As the classmate threatens to teach Su Bai a lesson, driven by of envy and misplaced loyalty towards Lin. The escalating conflict in the classroom is swiftly interrupted by the arrival of a formidable teacher, who commands immediate silence. She brings with her exciting news for the students, effective immediately. Individuals who have awakened their abilities can enroll directly at Jeonju Martial Arts University without the need to pass the cultural exam. Additionally, the cutoff score for the literature exam has been halved for those with the potential to become martial artists, significantly easing the academic burden on students aiming to pursue a path in martial arts. This announcement offers a new horizon for Su Bai and his classmates, potentially altering their educational and professional futures. With the announcement of the new education policy, excitement ripples through the classroom. Students chatter about the lowered exam requirements and the new opportunities for those with awakened abilities. As the teacher offers immediate registration for awakened students, Lin Yanren and Su Bai share a significant glance. Lin speculates about the possibilities this new path could open for Su Bai, hinting at a future where he might not only attend the martial arts university but also rise to prominence within it. Su Bai walking confidently through the city streets, a mere high school student to a potential martial arts contender, setting the stage for his journey in a world where academic and martial prowess are intertwined with one's destiny. On September 18, 1906, a massive spatial rift opened in the sky above Jeonju, changing the course of history. From this rift, a host of terrifying monsters emerged, wreaking havoc across the city. The creatures were relentless, their attacks causing widespread destruction and chaos. As the situation grew increasingly dire, the armies of various countries mobilized, launching a concerted effort to combat these monstrous invaders. The battles were fierce and prolonged, with significant losses on all sides, but eventually, the combined military forces managed to repel the monsters. This event marked a pivotal moment for Jeonju, highlighting the city's vulnerability to supernatural threats and the global community's capacity to respond to such unprecedented crises. Despite repeated military efforts to contain the threat, the persistent rift continued to spawn monsters, prompting a drastic measure. Recognizing the relentless nature of the threat, a daring decision was made to send a suicide squad into the rift to gather intelligence and explore its origins. Inside, they discovered an expansive and boundless land, suggesting a complex network of worlds beyond their own. Faced with the enormity of this discovery, the world's militaries united to construct a formidable military base directly within the rift. This strategic move aimed to fortify humanity's defenses, allowing forces to engage the monsters at the source and potentially control or even close the rift. This base represents humanity's resilience and commitment to safeguarding their world from the continuous onslaught of extraterrestrial dangers. A new era for humanity officially began with the appearance of additional rifts in the sky. Following the first rift in 1906, a second and third rift appeared in quick succession by 1907, and soon more followed. Over the century, these rifts grew more frequent, each introducing a unique breed of monsters, leading scientists to name the interconnected dimensions behind the rifts the battlefield of 10,000 races. As these rifts proliferated, so did the battles and the species of monsters emerging from them. This ongoing war necessitated global cooperation, resulting in the construction of military bases within the rifts to combat the threats directly at their source. Interestingly, alongside the physical battles, a transformation occurred within humanity itself. The spiritual energy of Earth began to rise, awakening latent abilities in humans, giving rise to a new era of martial artists and superpowered individuals. As the intensity of the battles escalated, traditional weaponry began to fall short, replaced by the power of these newly awakened beings. This ongoing war between humans and the myriad of alien races from the rifts has continued to the present day, profoundly impacting every aspect of life on Earth, including educational reforms like those seen at Jeonju Martial Arts University, indicating the severity and widespread nature of this global crisis. Su Bai, having activated a system that grants him the ability to tame beasts, decides to harness this newfound power to safeguard his family in a world increasingly fraught with danger. Recognizing the urgency to enhance his abilities, he resolves to attend a martial arts university backed by the military, which would not only provide him with the training he needs, but also place him in a position to directly contribute to humanity's defense against the rifts. Fortunately, Su Bai's special ability to tame beasts qualifies him for admission without the need for traditional exams, a boon that aligns perfectly with the recent educational reforms. Armed with his savings of more than 2,000 coins, he approaches the university with determination, hopeful that his financial resources will be sufficient to cover any additional expenses. As he steps into the university, he remembers that his system is supposed to automatically detect and guide him towards suitable opportunities. Yet, upon entering, nothing happens, leaving him momentarily confused. He approaches the reception, seeking guidance on how to proceed, a tangible step towards realizing his dream of becoming a protector not just for his family, but for his city as well. Upon entering the university, Su-bai, declaring his newfound ability as a beast tamer, inquires about the types of beasts available for taming. He's directed to several options, each with varying prices and capabilities. The first beast he considers is a common black cat with a netherworld sliver bloodline, priced at 36,000 yen, which he finds prohibitively expensive given his savings. His attention then shifts to a 4-eared dog, which boasts a 6-eared demon wolf bloodline and comes at a slightly lower cost of 33,000 yen. Still exploring his options, he's shown more beasts, including one priced at 56,000 yen and another at 90,000 yen, escalating his dilemma as he balances the potential of each beast against the financial constraints he faces. Confronted with these high prices, Su-bai realizes that his savings might not stretch as far as he had hoped, putting him in a position to make strategic decisions about which beast might offer the best balance of cost and potential for his journey as a martial artist. Frustrated by the high prices at the university and feeling like the options available are ripping him off, Su-bai returns home. There, he expresses his discontent with how expensive each beast is just for their bloodline. Upon his return, Su-bai's mysterious system, which had been unresponsive until now, suddenly activates and proposes an unexpected taming opportunity, a small turtle. At first, Su-bai is taken aback and even amused that the system suggests taming a turtle, especially since it turns out to be the very turtle his father has been raising. This revelation brings a moment of comic relief and a touch of irony to his journey. Despite the initial surprise and seeming triviality of the beast, this twist might hint at hidden potentials or qualities in the turtle that are not immediately apparent. This situation sets the stage for Su-bai to explore and perhaps uncover unique abilities that could significantly aid him in his quest to protect his family and thrive in a chaotic world. After his initial shock and amusement at the prospect of taming a seemingly unremarkable turtle, Su-bai reassesses the situation. His system highlights the turtle's potential, revealing it as an ordinary beginner-level creature with a latent bloodline that can evolve infinitely and eventually attain formidable capabilities. Intrigued by this revelation, Su-bai decides to embrace the challenge, tapping into his newfound ability to see beyond the surface and explore the unique advantages his first tamed beast might offer. Choosing to accept the turtle as his ally, Su-bai's attitude shifts from skepticism to curiosity and determination. He commits to enhancing the turtle's abilities, utilizing the system's guidance to unlock and maximize its potential. This decision not only marks the start of his journey as a beast tamer, but also symbolizes his growth in adapting to the challenges of his new abilities and the realities of a world where the supernatural becomes an everyday element of survival and combat. Su-bai's initial skepticism about his first tamed beast, a turtle, quickly transforms into delight as he discovers its potential. The turtle, affectionately named Zio-ba, turns out to possess the Xuanwu holy bloodline. Despite its humble appearance and size, Su-bai recognizes the turtle's significant potential and decides it's worth far more than he initially thought, refusing to consider replacing it for anything else. At home, Su-bai's enthusiasm about his new beast is met with protective suspicion from his sister, Su-zayomai, who asserts her attachment to Zio-ba, referring to it as Daddy's baby. As Su-bai and his sister interact with Zio-ba, the turtle unexpectedly demands food, revealing a more lively and engaging personality than Su-bai anticipated. Su-bai's situation escalates as Zio-ba, the seemingly unremarkable turtle, reveals a ravenous appetite that surprises everyone, including Su-bai and his sister Zayomai. When Su-bai notes the turtle's insatiable hunger, he speculates it might be a sign of impending evolution, hinting at the turtle's hidden potential linked to its holy bloodline. As Su-bai scrambles to find more food to satiate Zio-ba's hunger, the situation at home becomes chaotic. The turtle's appetite leads to an uproarious scene, leaving the house in disarray. Return home to what appears to be the aftermath of a robbery, only to find it's their son's new pet causing the commotion. Each family member's reaction, ranging from amusement to bewilderment, paints a vivid picture of life with a magically endowed pet. Su-bai quickly realized that the shadow of his ability had disappeared instantly, and the black tortoise bloodline was still dormant but consuming more energy. With that in mind, he decided to head towards a place. Arriving at a building with a distinctive dragon emblem, he entered. Inside, a familiar woman greeted him, asking if he had finally decided on his purchase. However, Su-bai made it clear this time, he wasn't here to buy anything. Leaning in close, he quietly asked if they accepted exotic beast blood. This immediately caught the attention of a well-dressed man sitting nearby. Surprised, the man questioned whether Su-bai really had such a valuable resource. The man gave a nod of approval, allowing the woman to proceed as Su-bai stood ready. With a casual gesture, the man then invited Su-bai to sit and discuss further. Curious, he requested to examine the exotic beast blood first. Su-bai, confident in its quality, agreed without hesitation. Taking a small vial, the man carefully inspected it. Realizing the authenticity and superior quality of the beast blood, he immediately asked how much Su-bai was willing to sell. Su-bai calculated the effort it took to extract the beast blood. Considering its worth, he expected at least 100 yuan. However, when the man casually offered 1,000 yuan, Su-bai was visibly shocked. His reaction made the man smirk, realizing Su-bai had a good understanding of the product's value. But before the deal could be sealed, the man suddenly laughed, revealing he was just joking. Given the exceptional quality of the beast blood, he corrected himself. The real price was 10,000 yuan. Hearing this, Su-bai was even more stunned. Just as he was about to react, the man continued, offering a final price of 15,000 yuan, making it clear he couldn't go any higher. Su-bai couldn't believe his blood was worth so much. He struggled to hide his excitement, but the thought of earning that much made it impossible to suppress his smile. Without hesitation, he agreed to the deal, though he casually remarked that if he weren't in urgent need of money, he wouldn't have sold it so easily. As he left, the man reminded him to return if he ever had more high-quality goods. Su-bai walked away, feeling satisfied. Checking his balance, he still couldn't believe it. Selling the exotic beast blood for 15,000 yuan meant he could sustain himself for a while now. As Su-bai walked, he received a call from his teacher, informing him that the academic results were out, and there was important news. He was instructed to come to school that afternoon to complete his application. However, before he could get more details, the signal cut out. Frustrated by the sudden loss of connection, he tried calling back, but had no luck. Just then, a warning screen appeared before him, detecting hostile intent nearby. It identified 3 enemies within range, all targeting him. Realizing he was being ambushed, Su-bai quickly turned around. One of the attackers was already approaching, gripping a large spiked club while grinning menacingly. Their leader confidently assumed he had something valuable after seeing the pet store owner's reaction. Without hesitation, he demanded Su-bai hand it over. Trying to reason with them, Su-bai explained that he only sold items, not bought them. Yet, luck was clearly not on his side. He quickly assessed the situation. Only one of them was a primary warrior, which meant he had a chance. Confidence sparked in his eyes. He wasn't afraid. However, the thug laughed at his expression, mocking his supposed cowardice and demanding the money. Su-bai appeared to surrender, curling up slightly, as if preparing to comply. He suddenly made his move, pretending to surrender, but instead hurling his turtle companion straight at the bald thug. Caught off guard, the thug quickly raised his weapon to strike, but the unexpected attack threw him off balance. His eyes widened in shock as he realized too late this was a trap. Panic took over as he let out a terrified scream. Su-bai took advantage of the opening, delivering a powerful counterattack that sent the bald thug flying. The force was so strong that it even made the thug imagine an egg cracking in his head. His 2 subordinates panicked and rushed to his aid, furious that Su-bai had dared to lay a hand on their boss. Without hesitation, they charged at him, weapons in hand. But Su-bai used his turtle companion's defense to shield himself. One of the attackers lunged, thinking he had Su-bai cornered. But Su-bai swiftly reacted, grabbing his fist mid-air, ready for the next move. He struck the incoming attacker, sending him flying backward. The second thug barely had time to react before he, too, was slammed into the ground. The bald leader, now regaining his footing, roared in fury. His face twisted with rage as he crawled forward, vowing to kill Su-bai. Su-bai quickly prepared to retreat. He called out to his turtle companion, signaling to pull back before things escalated further. With precise movements, he countered the bald thug's charge, flipping him over and sending him crashing hard into the ground. The thug howled in pain, his earlier confidence shattered. Subai stood tall, looking down at his fallen enemies. They had provoked him, and now they were paying the price. Just as he was about to leave, he noticed something strange. His turtle companion had somehow ended up next to the unconscious thug. Subai noticed his turtle companion holding something glowing in its mouth. Curious, he rushed over, questioning what it had found. Before he could react, the turtle tossed the object into the air. Subai caught it, realizing it was a Kai and blood potion, an incredibly valuable item worth tens of thousands. Shocked, he muttered that warriors typically absorb this potion over an entire month. Yet, his turtle had consumed it all in one go. He stared at the creature, now radiating energy, wondering if it could even handle such a massive boost. Subai's eyes widened as he felt a surge of power coursing through his body. His entire being radiated energy this time. The feeling of growing stronger was overwhelming. A system screen appeared before him, detailing his updated stats. His tamed beast's evolution had increased his attributes significantly, even granting him a new talent. Checking the turtle's stats, Subai was shocked its physique and defense had skyrocketed. The turtle had also grown in size, its shell now radiating with power. The Kai and blood potion had caused an immense transformation, leaving Subai stunned at how much both he and his beast had advanced. Subai recalled what he had learned in class. Normal high-level strength type exotic beasts usually only reached 30 in stats. Yet, his turtle was already exceeding that without even activating its full potential. Realizing the incredible potential his companion had, Subai decided it was time to leave. He patted the turtle, telling it they needed to get moving. Meanwhile, back at school, the academic results had been released, and it was time to submit applications. However, there was also a major announcement. Tomorrow, a special admissions teacher from Marshall University would arrive to conduct an ability test. This was a rare opportunity, as only 2 students would be guaranteed a spot. In class, Lin Yanren asked Subai if he had decided between the Humanities Institute or Marshall University. Without hesitation, he declared that he must get into Marshall University. Surprised, she reminded him that she had asked him to apply to the Humanities Institute with her. Marshall University sends students to the battlefield. It's dangerous, and she was clearly worried. She hesitated, bringing up his grades, implying that he might not be suited for such a path. But Subai remained firm. Someone had to go to the front lines, and he saw it as a good thing. With a confident smile, he revealed his real reason: he wanted to protect someone important. Lin Yanren's heart skipped a beat as she wondered, could he be talking about her? In the classroom, the teacher asks Lin Yanren which institution she plans to apply to. She hesitates, considering her options. A classmate assumes she'll choose the Humanities Institute since she hasn't awakened any abilities or trained physically. Still undecided, Lin Yanren responds that she needs more time to think. Meanwhile, the teacher emphasizes the importance of this decision, instructing students to take their report cards home, discuss with their parents, and submit their applications by tomorrow. As the school day ends, the announcement echoes schools out. The students acknowledge the teacher before heading out. As Lin Yanren relaxes in a medicinal bath, she calls Subai. She announces her decision: she's applying to Marshall University. She hints at a surprise, leaving Subai stunned. Subai, in the middle of training, can't believe what he just heard. He questions if she's serious, but Lin Yanren affirms her choice without hesitation. Not wanting to drag out the conversation, Subai ends the call, saying he has urgent matters to handle. The students gathered as an announcer introduced the military martial arts instructor, Zhang Kai, welcoming him to the stage. A woman addressed the students, explaining that Zhang Kai wasn't just an instructor, he was also their principal and a respected senior. Taking the microphone, Zhang Kai immediately reminded them of the academy's brutal reality, revealing past survival rates. A year ago, 126 students had joined, but only 65 remained. The numbers from previous years were even worse: less than half of each group had survived. 3 years ago, out of 86 students, only 11 were still alive. He made it clear that he wasn't trying to scare them, but to ensure they understood the truth. Being part of this academy wasn't something to celebrate, it was a constant fight to stay alive. Subai listening as the speech continued. The challenges ahead were clear: duty, responsibility, and the danger of protecting their nation. The instructor then addressed the crowd, reinforcing the academy's purpose. Wuda was a place where the strong were forged. He asked if they aspired to be part of the elite, and the students responded with a unified roar of determination. Satisfied with their enthusiasm, the instructor expressed his anticipation for their performance in the entrance exam. Jiang Kai called out to Subai. He turned, acknowledging the call, while Lin Yanren observed from the side. Approaching him, Jiang Kai confirmed his identity and informed him that a spot had been reserved for him at Wuda. He was instructed to head there immediately and prepare for the entrance examination. Subai was shocked to hear that a reserved spot had been arranged for him. He couldn't believe it, but the instructor confirmed that a vehicle was waiting to take him to the academy's entrance. Meanwhile, other students reacted with surprise and frustration. Some called it favoritism, while others wished they were in his place, envious of the special treatment. Shortly after, the students arrived at Wuda. The instructor announced their arrival, instructing them to disembark. As they stood outside, the instructor called for the students to follow, signaling the beginning of their journey at Wuda. As Subai and the students explored Wuda, they came across a towering stone pillar engraved with the school's motto. The inscription spoke of unwavering honor and dedication to the nation. Subai was impressed by its grandeur, while another student explained its significance. The instructor then led the group forward, guiding them to collect their uniforms before heading to the dormitories. Once there, she directed the male students to their designated area, informing them that they would soon receive further instructions regarding the examination. Subai acknowledged her guidance before heading inside. Reaching his assigned room, Subai reflected on the importance of resources in martial arts training. Inside the dormitory, a red-haired student showed off a rare bottle of medicine, explaining that it was made from extremely rare monster blood his father had acquired. He emphasized how valuable it was, something most people would never see in their lifetime. The others were fascinated, some admitting they had never encountered anything like it before, while one mentioned having bought similar products, but never something this rare. At that moment, Subai entered the room, introducing himself as their new doormate in room 303. A student Han Jiagang acknowledged him, noting that now everyone was present. He then introduced the other two students Tao Jiajun, who casually greeted Subai, and Fan Keon, who gave a friendly nod. Han Jiagang's doormates welcomed Subai, telling him there was no need for formalities since they were all roommates. They showed him the rare monster blood that Han Jiagang's father had obtained, explaining that it was difficult to acquire and required extensive effort to find. Subai, while unpacking, was surprised to hear it came from Yu Mountain and wondered if he was the one who had originally sold it. He casually asked about its price, assuming it must have been expensive. Han Jiagang, however, dismissed the cost, saying each drop was only around 30,000, totaling less than 100,000, an amount he considered insignificant. Hearing this, he realized that he had originally sold it for 30,000, but someone had resold it for triple the price. Frustrated, he cursed the middlemen who had taken advantage of the deal. Inside the dormitory, Subai's roommates excitedly pointed outside, claiming there was an incredibly beautiful girl downstairs. One of them even declared that she was his pick for the upcoming beauty contest. Curious, they rushed to the window, their eyes locking onto the tall, Lai Yanren confidently walking toward the dormitory. They were mesmerized by her appearance, praising her elegance and wondering why she was there. Meanwhile, outside, the dormitory manager stopped Lin Yanren, asking about her purpose in the men's dorms. Without hesitation, she stated that she was looking for Subai. The dormitory manager called out for Subai, announcing that a beautiful girl was waiting for him outside. His roommates were stunned by the revelation, unable to believe what they had just heard. Subai, without hesitation, decided to leave, while his roommates watched in disbelief. They couldn't understand why someone as stunning as her would be looking for him. Suspicious, they started to wonder if Subai was more influential than he appeared. Outside, Lin Yanren greeted Subai, complimenting how well he looked in his uniform. He responded casually. Lin Yanren adjusted Subai's uniform, complimenting him on how good he looked. Subai was caught off guard by her sudden closeness, unsure how to respond. Meanwhile, his doormates watched from the window, completely stunned. Seeing Lin Yanren personally fixing Subai's clothes left them in disbelief. They were outraged, unable to accept that Subai was casually interacting with someone they considered a goddess. Lin Yanren then brought up the reserved spot at Wuda, asking if Subai was upset about it. He reassured her that he wasn't angry, though he had initially planned to earn his place through the entrance test. Lin Yanren thanked him sincerely, admitting she had been worried about his reaction. Subai simply smiled, placing a hand on her head, telling her there was no way he could be upset with her. Lin Yanran informed Su-bai that the entrance examination was approaching and offered him some pills to help. However, Su-bai declined, saying she had already helped him enough and should keep them for herself. Before leaving, Lin Yanran waved at Su-bai, telling him she'd see him tomorrow. Su-bai could only watch as she walked away. Meanwhile, inside the dormitory, the other students had been observing everything. Shocked that Su-bai had not only interacted closely with Lin Yanran, but had even touched her head, they were desperate to find out who he really was. Back in the dorm, Su-bai returned to a completely different atmosphere. His roommates, who were once skeptical of him, now treated him with newfound respect, calling him Brother Su and eagerly inviting him to sit with them. Su-bai's dormmates surrounded him, eager to know about his connection with Lin Yanran. He casually mentioned that they were just high school classmates, but they weren't convinced, insisting he was being too humble. Taking advantage of their newfound camaraderie, Han Jiagang suggested that since they were dormmates, Su-bai should invite Lin Yanran to bring some of her friends over. Su-bai was caught off guard, unsure how to respond. To celebrate their first meeting, Han Jiagang proposed taking Su-bai out for a good meal and a chat. The others quickly agreed, deciding to handle all the arrangements themselves while telling Su-bai to rest. As they excitedly rushed out, Su-bai was left standing there, slightly overwhelmed by how quickly their attitude toward him had changed. After his dormmates left, Su-bai reflected on how interesting they were. He then took out Little Ba, letting it stretch out and breathe. Curious about what Lin Yanran had given him earlier, Su-bai checked the package and found a blood essence potion. He smiled, realizing that it would be beneficial for his little companion Little Ba. With a mischievous grin, Su-bai teased Little Ba, asking if it knew what to do after consuming the potion. Meanwhile, his dormmates arrived at an extravagant hotel for their gathering. Su-bai was surprised at the high-end choice, questioning if it was necessary. However, Han Jiagang assured him that all he needed to do was enjoy himself and leave the rest to them. At the luxurious hotel, Han Jiagang raised a toast, expressing how fortunate he felt to have such great dormmates, especially Su-bai. The others eagerly joined in, welcoming the camaraderie. As they settled down, Su-bai mentioned his connection with Lin Yanran, casually implying that he could arrange introductions to some of her friends later. Shifting the topic, he told Jiagang that he needed his help with something. Revealing a bottle of rare monster blood, Su-bai downplayed its importance but asked for Jiagang's assistance in handling it. The others were instantly intrigued, recognizing its incredible value. Jiagang examined the blood carefully, realizing that it was of even higher quality than his own. Shocked, he admitted that he had never seen anything like it before. Han Jiagang was shocked by the rarity of Su-bai's monster blood and immediately offered to call his father for assistance. Later, Jiagang stepped aside to make the call, but his father was initially unimpressed, assuming his son had once again run out of pocket money. Jiagang quickly reassured him that this was serious. Explaining the situation, he told his father that his classmate had 7 drops of rare monster blood far superior to what they had obtained before. Unable to determine its value, he sought his father's advice. Hearing this, Jiagang's father was stunned, questioning if it was truly better than before. Jiagang swore by it, urging him to come see for himself. Without hesitation, his father instructed him to send the location, promising to dispatch Master Cow immediately. An hour later, Master Cow arrived to examine the monster blood. The moment he saw it, he was in awe, calling it the purest and most potent he had ever encountered. He excitedly declared that with such high energy content, he could create something extraordinary. Jiagang's father, still skeptical, questioned if Master Cow was exaggerating. However, Master Cow insisted that even with the finest equipment, the value of this blood would only increase. Meanwhile, Su-bai casually sipping a drink as Jiagang marveled at how overpowered his monster blood truly was. Jiagang's father inquired about the price for Su-bai's monster blood. However, Su-bai clarified that it wasn't for sale, he was only willing to exchange it for blood essence of equal value. Acknowledging their connection through Jiagang, his father assured Su-bai that he wouldn't be shortchanged. He offered to take all the monster blood in exchange for 14 bottles of blood essence, a deal that Su-bai readily accepted. With a knowing smile, Jiagang's father then made an unexpected offer. He invited Su-bai to join the Han family, promising free resources and additional benefits. Su-bai politely declined Jiagang's father's offer, stating that he had no plans to join a family for now. However, Jaegang's father tried to persuade him to reconsider. Before the discussion could continue, Lin Yanren suddenly entered the room with a commanding presence. She firmly declared that Su-bai had already made his decision and that no one had the right to pressure him into joining any family. She made herself clear her stance was non-negotiable. Su-bai was surprised to see Lin Yanren and asked why she was there. The others in the room were equally shocked, recognizing her instantly and wondering why she had suddenly appeared. Lin Yanren casually stated that she had come to take care of her own matters and hadn't expected to run into Su-bai. Meanwhile, Jaegang's father and Master Cao observed the situation closely. Jaegang's father was clearly unsettled, realizing there was something significant about her presence. As Master Cao tried to explain who she was, his expression changed to shock as he fully grasped her identity. Jaegang's father explaining that it's all a misunderstanding. He insists that Su-bai and his son are not just classmates but also close brothers. Lin Yanren asking if he's heading back to school. She suggests they go together. Su-bai nods saying he's done with his matters here and is ready to leave. Before leaving, Su-bai bids farewell to Jaegang's father and Master Cao, telling Jaegang that they'll meet back at the dorm. Jaegang's father responds, wishing him well. As Su-bai walks away with Lin Yanren, Jaegang suddenly panics and rushes forward, calling out to her, saying he's heading back too. But his father grabs him, scolding him and demanding he come back, clearly frustrated by his reaction. Jaegang's father sternly advises him to get along with Su-bai, emphasizing that the future of the Han family might depend on their relationship. Jaegang is confused by this statement, but is even more shocked when his father warns him to keep a respectable distance from Lin Yanren. Later, Jaegang questions his father, wondering why he never noticed how exceptional both Su-bai and Lin Yanren are. 2 days pass, and at the Marshall University campus training ground, the students gather for their freshman special training. The instructor announces that this session's training will take place at a significant location. The students are stunned to learn that they will be training at the battlefield of myriad races, a place filled with danger. Some voice their concerns, questioning the safety of such a decision. The instructor reassures them that while failing the training isn't a big deal, survival is what truly matters. He assures them that the designated training area has been secured and that their safety will be ensured. The instructor announces that each class will consist of 50 students, led by a bronze-level teacher who will be responsible for their training. He encourages the freshmen, wishing them success in their training. As the students are assigned to their groups, Lin Yanren excitedly informs Su-bai that they are in the same class. Nearby, Jaegang and other students react with excitement, thrilled to be in the same class as the goddess. Su-bai, however, wonders if this arrangement was intentional. A voice calls out for Class 8 to gather. A striking woman steps forward, introducing herself as Liao Yuxin, the special training instructor for the group. Liao Yuxin confidently informs the students that she will be in charge of all training tasks. As she speaks, several students are captivated by her striking appearance. Then, she announces their first task, writing a will. The students are stunned, their excitement immediately turning into panic. Some hesitate, questioning if she was serious, while others start to grasp the reality of the training. She gives them a day to complete this task, instructing them to gather at the teleportation plaza at 8 am for their departure to the battlefield of myriad races. Some students wonder if their lives are truly at risk, while others start worrying about the future. A few are left reflecting on their unfinished goals, realizing they might not return. Lin Yanren asks Su-bai about his plans before departure. He replies that he doesn't have much to prepare and plans to head back to the dorm. As they part ways, she tells him they'll meet tomorrow. Meanwhile, other students feel the pressure of the upcoming battlefield training and focus on their preparations. Later, at the dorms, a group of students invites Su-bai to join them for a fun night before their departure. However, Su-bai declines, saying he has things to take care of. Jaegang, understanding his decision, offers to bring anything back for him if needed. Su-bai acknowledges and lets them go. Jaegang notices Su-bai's pet turtle and comments on its tough shell. Su-bai introduces it as Little Bai, explaining that it's quite a foodie. As the others leave for their night out, they bid farewell to Su-bai, who stays behind. He tells them to enjoy themselves. Alone in the dorm, Su-bai prepares food for Little Bai, teasing it for always eating. He lets it feast, reminding it to prove its worth on the battlefield. Meanwhile, he prepares his own supplies, making sure everything is ready for tomorrow. Little Bai eagerly devours its meal, and Su Bai reassures it that no one will take its food away. As Su Bai feeds Little Bai, a notification appears, announcing that the tamed beast has evolved into an ordinary high-tier beast. Along with Su Bai's level increasing, Little Bai gains a new talent, Heavy Strike. A detailed status screen reveals Little Bai's improved attributes, including Constitution, Defense, and Agility. Its talents now include Shell Defense, which boosts defense when fully retracted, Turtle Skin Defense, which enhances durability at the cost of stamina, and Heavy Strike, which increases attack power depending on stamina consumption. Another screen displays Su Bai's updated stats, confirming that he, as a beast tamer, benefits from his beast's evolution. His base attributes have grown, and Little Bai's abilities will partially enhance him as well. Excited about the improvements, Su Bai acknowledges that the Blood Kai powder played a crucial role in the upgrade. He praises Little Bai, encouraging it to give its best performance in the upcoming battle. Little Bai responds confidently, ready for the challenge ahead. The preparations for battle are complete, and a report is sent to the chief instructor confirming that all students are ready. Instructors stand by as orders are given to activate the teleportation array. With a command, the massive portal begins to hum with energy. Students marvel at the enormous teleportation array, acknowledging that only Marshall University could provide such a grand sight. Before departure, Lin Yanran expresses concern for Su Bai, urging him to stay cautious on the battlefield. Su Bai reassures her with confidence, promising that they will complete their mission successfully. She nods, wishing him luck as they prepare to embark on their journey. As the teleportation process begins, Su Bai and the students step forward, preparing for the transfer. A bright glow surrounds them as the command is given. The students arrive at their destination, disoriented but amazed. Jiagang stumbles slightly, exclaiming in surprise, while others look around in awe. A student wonders if this is the military base within the battlefield of myriad races. They take in the vast structure, realizing they have truly arrived. Some are excited, marveling at the incredible technology, while others remain cautious about their new surroundings. Before the excitement can escalate, Liao Yuxin commands everyone to quiet down. She addresses a high-ranking officer, Deputy Commander Liatao, apologizing for the students' reactions, explaining that they are all new recruits who haven't seen much yet. The Deputy Commander of Military Base F-269 introduces himself, making it clear that rank doesn't matter here, everyone follows his orders. He demands acknowledgement, and the students, led by Liao Yuxin, respond in unison, affirming their understanding. As the commander addresses them, Jiagang questions why they should be impressed by a mere deputy commander. However, Su Bai observes the scar on his face, recognizing that he must be a seasoned officer. The commander then assigns their first task, cleaning the battlefield. However, it's not just about clearing debris. They must also eliminate any remaining shadow cats lurking in the area. He deems it a perfect test for new recruits stepping onto the battlefield for the first time. The deputy commander explains the reward system. Eliminating shadow cats earns merit points, which can be exchanged for valuable resources like blood kai powder and body refinement elixirs, helping students enhance their strength. Hearing this, the students become excited. Jiagang and others realize why so many risk their lives to enter the battlefield of myriad races. The opportunity to exchange merit points for potions makes the mission even more rewarding. Noticing their enthusiasm, the commander smirks, acknowledging their eagerness for action. Without wasting time, he gives the order to move out. The students respond energetically, ready to start. Su Bai, confident in his skills, looks forward to accumulating merit points. He also considers how much Little Bai will benefit from this hunt, anticipating a feast for his pet. The group arrives at a section of the base where wounded soldiers are being treated. Many are covered in injuries, fresh from battle, groaning in pain as they receive medical attention. Seeing this, the students are shocked. They question whether these injuries were caused by shadow cats, the lowest-ranked monsters. Doubt and fear spread among them. If even such weak creatures are this dangerous, how will they survive? One student panics, worrying about making it back alive. However, Liao Yuxin quickly shuts down the fear-driven murmurs, reminding them that the battlefield of myriad races is not a place for hesitation. Anyone who joined Marshall University should already be prepared for danger. Lin Yanran, feeling uneasy, tells Su Bai to stay close to her in battle, not wanting anything to happen to him. Su Bai acknowledges her concern, but he knows they must remain vigilant at all times if they want to make it through alive. A soldier reports to the deputy commander that they have been guarding the northern gate and have successfully eliminated 35 beasts that attacked the camp. Awaiting further orders, the commander decides it's time for the recruits to experience the true nature of the battlefield. With a firm command, he orders the camp gate to be opened. Liao Yuxin reminds them that this is a rare opportunity. As Deputy Commander Liatao himself is leading the team, they must prove themselves in battle. Liatao warns the recruits, having left their wills behind, they must now be prepared to walk alongside death every second from here on out. The commander addressed the gathered rookies, ensuring they were ready for the mission. With their confident response, he wasted no time giving the order to move out. Meanwhile, the strike force was instructed to follow and provide protection. As they proceeded, Liao Yuxin questioned why Captain Fu was personally leading the team, noting that clearing a battlefield wasn't particularly dangerous. The commander casually dismissed her concerns, saying it would be a waste to send inexperienced rookies straight to the front lines. When Yuxin pressed further, he cut her off, telling her not to ask unnecessary questions. Later, as they marched, Yuxin expressed gratitude for his presence, but the commander brushed it off, stating that the students were warriors on the battlefield and it was his duty to protect them. At Didu, the highest military command post in Long, an urgent report was brought forth. Officials wasted no time in allowing the messenger to speak. The report detailed a dire situation. Monsters had broken through defenses on the battlefield of all races. A powerful group from the Young Cats tribe was already engaged in combat, but the crisis was far from contained. The invading horde had spread out, launching attacks on 12 additional military camps in the southwest. A high-ranking officer swiftly took charge, ordering an immediate assessment of the monsters' movements and warning other camps to prepare for battle. He emphasized the importance of protecting the new students from Wuda, as they represented the future of Long. The command was clear: these recruits must be safeguarded at all costs. Meanwhile, in Area F-269, the battlefield was chaotic. Soldiers were reminded that time was critical. Every moment spent there increased the risk of death. Fires raged, fallen enemies littered the ground, and the battle showed no signs of slowing. The rookies had entered a true war zone, where survival depended on speed and skill. Su Bai and his team continued harvesting resources from the battlefield. One of them pointed out that the hides, blood, flesh, and claws of the Yaoming cats could be used to craft weapons and medicines. Another remarked that with such valuable materials, it was no surprise that many people were willing to venture into such a dangerous place. Excitedly, someone announced they had found another monster core, celebrating their luck. Su Bai focused on gathering more resources, planned to collect additional cores to exchange for blood spirit essence. He figured this would allow his companion, Little 8, to level up once again. However, his interface suddenly flashed with an urgent alert. 164 Yaoming cats were rapidly approaching from 3 kilometers away in the southwest forest. The warning classified the situation as an extreme danger, rating the threat level at 5 stars and the danger to life at 4 stars. Su Bai was taken aback. The last time his system had issued a warning, it was for a minor threat, a low-level martial artist. But now, it was flagging a 5-star, life-threatening crisis. Alarmed, Liao Yuxin noticed his change in expression and immediately asked what was wrong. Su Bai urgently called out to Liao Yuxin, warning her about a large horde of monsters moving toward them from the southwest. Perched on a tree, she seemed skeptical but listened as he insisted on the danger. Observing the area, Liao Yuxin found nothing unusual, only silence stretching across the battlefield. Frustrated, she reminded Su Bai that this was a battlefield, not a place to stir panic. Recklessly alarming others could have severe consequences. However, Su Bai insisted he wasn't joking. The threat was real, and the monsters were approaching fast. Captain Fu, overhearing their exchange, stepped in. He confidently dismissed Su Bai's claims, asserting that no monsters were within 2 kilometers. Su Bai, however, stood firm, warning that over 100 Yaoming cats were just 3 kilometers away and closing in quickly. Captain Fu scoffed at Su Bai's claim, questioning whether his senses were superior to his own. Liao Yuxin, trying to de-escalate the situation, suggested that Su Bai was simply overreacting due to his inexperience in battle and that it wasn't worth wasting time on. However, Lin Yanren stepped forward, insisting that no conclusions should be made without proper verification. She declared her trust in Su Bai, leaving Captain Fu momentarily speechless. Determined, Su Bai addressed everyone, urging them to believe him. He explained that as a monster tamer, he possessed an exceptional sense for detecting danger. This revelation surprised the group, with some questioning why the school hadn't documented such an important ability. Su Bai clarified that since he was guaranteed a spot at Wu Da, his special abilities weren't officially recorded. Doubts spread among the others if he truly had the ability to tame monsters. Why had no one seen any proof of it? A sudden cry rang out as the Yaoming cats finally appeared, proving Su Bai's warning to be true. The group quickly realized the sheer number of enemies approaching, forcing them to act fast. Orders were given to form a defensive formation immediately. As the threat grew, the call for reinforcements was sent out. However, bad news followed. Nearby camps were also under attack, meaning no backup would be coming. They were on their own. Liao Yuxin expressed her concern, questioning if there were truly over 100 monsters. Without reinforcements, the students stood little chance against such an overwhelming force. Captain Fu, now convinced of the danger, acknowledged that Su Bai had been right all along. He could now sense the horde rapidly approaching. Wasting no time, Captain Fu ordered 4 soldiers to protect Su Bai and another student, ensuring their safety. Su Bai, unwilling to stand idly by, protested. He insisted he could fight and didn't need special protection. A fierce Yaoming cat of the early bronze stage leaped into battle, its glowing green aura signaling its strength. The students barely had time to react before more of the creatures lunged toward them. Liao Yuxin and the other soldiers immediately launched a counterattack, firing a barrage of energy blasts at the incoming threat. Urgent orders echoed across the battlefield to protect the students at all costs. Despite their efforts, the monsters were relentless. The soldiers struggled to hold their ground as the beasts tore through their ranks with brutal force. One fighter, sent flying by a devastating attack, exclaimed in disbelief that these so-called cats were more like tigers in their sheer power. Captain Fu remained composed, rallying his forces. He commanded everyone to maintain their defensive formation, assuring them that if they could withstand the initial wave, victory was still possible. As the Yaoming cats pounced, an instructor called out to the students, reminding them of their vow. The beasts lunged from all sides, their glowing claws aiming for a decisive strike. In response, the students stood their ground, their spirits unwavering. With shields raised and weapons drawn, they declared their resolve by the honor burning in their chests. They swore their country would never fall. Suddenly, a powerful blue energy blast tore through the sky, striking down multiple enemies in an instant. Reinforcements had arrived, launching a devastating counterattack from above. As the battle intensified, Zhang Mani leaped into action, commanding the others to hold the Yaoming cats at bay while she rained arrows upon them from above. Meanwhile, Luo Yongqiang charged forward, dismissing the threat as nothing more than mere cats, vowing to handle them himself. Liao Yuxin was impressed. With Mani's exceptional archery and Yongqiang's brute strength, this batch of students was proving to be extraordinary. Su Bai observed them in admiration, acknowledging their power and skill. He couldn't help but note that while they had impressive abilities, his only weapon was his trusted companion, Little 8. Around him, other students were in awe of Mani's combat prowess, some even referring to her as a goddess. They marveled at how both she and Yongqiang were on an entirely different level, far beyond their own abilities. A strange and piercing sound echoed across the battlefield, sending a wave of confusion and unease through the fighters. Alarmed, one of the soldiers shouted for everyone to cover their ears, but the unsettling noise had already disrupted their focus. The students' expressions turned grim as they realized what they were facing: the king of the Yaoming cats, a fearsome beast that had reached the middle silver stage. With its towering presence and immense aura, the Cat King radiated overwhelming power. Its stats confirmed the worst: its agility was off the charts, making it an even deadlier threat. Captain Fu, now visibly shaken, demanded an immediate call for reinforcements. A silver stage monster of this caliber had no business being here, and their chances of survival were now slimmer than ever. Determined to strike first, a warrior lunged at the Yaoming Cat King, dismissing its threat and launching an attack. Another student attempted to assist, aiming to disrupt the beast's vision and create an opening. However, Liao Yuxin's expression turned to panic as she realized the recklessness of their actions. She shouted at them to retreat, warning that a silver stage monster was not something they could handle so carelessly. Before they could react, the Cat King countered with a devastating energy attack, sending its challengers flying through the air. The overwhelming force of the beast was undeniable, and the reality of its power became clear as one of the students crashed hard into the ground, unable to withstand the impact. Liao Yuxin shouted in frustration, urging the students to fall back immediately. But it was too late. The Cat King had already launched its counterattack. Seeing no other option, the soldiers provided cover fire, desperately trying to suppress the beast's advance. A terrified student found himself directly in the Cat King's path, its massive frame looming over him. With energy surging around it, the beast prepared to strike. The student screamed for help, realizing he was powerless against such overwhelming strength. Just as the fatal blow was about to land, a sudden blast struck the Cat King, knocking it back. Little Bai arrived with force, deflecting the attack and creating a moment of hope amid the chaos. Liao Yuxin and the others stared in disbelief at the unexpected newcomer. A turtle? She could hardly believe it. Another student quickly recognized it as Su Bai's beast companion, Little Bai. Su Bai stepped forward with confidence, finally revealing himself as a beast tamer. He declared that while the others should handle the smaller enemies, he and Little Bai would take on the Cat King directly. The astonishment only grew when Little Bai unleashed a powerful attack, sending the mighty Cat King flying. The students were completely dumbfounded. How could a turtle be this strong? Liao Yuxin, still trying to make sense of it, turned to Su Bai in shock. Was this truly the beast he had tamed? Nothing about it seemed ordinary. The tide of battle had shifted, but with this unexpected twist, everyone was left questioning just how powerful Su Bai and his companion really were. Su Bai commanded Little Bai to unleash its strength against the Cat King. The seemingly slow turtle suddenly moved with incredible speed, shocking everyone. The students could hardly believe their eyes. Was this really a turtle? As the battle raged, even Liao Yuxin admitted her surprise at Su Bai's abilities. No one had expected him to be this skilled, and his beast companion was unlike anything they had ever seen. With Su Bai now facing off against the Cat King, Liao Yuxin took charge of the battlefield. She rallied her classmates, calling for them to regroup and eliminate the remaining ghost cats before they could overwhelm them. The students responded with renewed determination, launching a fierce counterattack. The battle had now fully shifted into two fronts: Su Bai's showdown with the Cat King, and the students' fight to clear the battlefield. The Cat King roared in fury, unleashing a devastating attack as it pinned Little Bai under its massive claws. Energy surged through its body as it prepared to deal a crushing blow. A barrage of blue energy blasts erupted, forcing the Cat King to momentarily recoil. However, to everyone's shock, Little Bai remained unharmed, its shell absorbing the full force of the attack. The beast's legendary turtle armor defense had activated, leaving the Cat King stunned as it reeled back in disbelief. One of the soldiers looked on in pure astonishment. How was an ordinary beast holding its ground against the claws of a silver stage Cat King? What kind of monstrous defense was this? Seizing the opportunity while the Cat King was distracted, a soldier called for cover fire as he prepared to land a decisive strike. His comrades responded immediately, keeping the battlefield secure as he moved in. With precision, he targeted the beast's weak spot, its waist and abdomen. Flames erupted around his blade as he leaped into the air, ready to deliver a crushing blow. the attack came down with immense force, aimed directly at the Cat King's vulnerable point. The beast roared in pain, its body writhing under the impact. But just as victory seemed within reach, the Cat King twisted its body at the last moment, narrowly avoiding a fatal strike. In an instant, it countered, sending the attacker flying backward. The plan had failed just barely. The battle raged on as a soldier, filled with determination, charged forward with his flaming weapon. He roared at the beast, declaring that this fight would end with either its defeat or his own. Meanwhile, another group of recruits faced their own challenge. One of them confidently instructed Little Ba to unleash a special move. As the small turtle-like creature began to spin, some of the team looked on in confusion, questioning what was so special about it. Doubt filled the air as they observed the turtle rotating in place. They weren't sure how this was supposed to be an effective attack. However, one of them quickly recalled knowledge from a book, noting that the Cat King's weakness lay in its waist and abdomen. One of the recruits charged in, launching a powerful attack with a swift aerial strike, his determination unwavering. The force of his strike sent shockwaves through the battlefield, carving through the ground as energy erupted from the impact. The spinning turtle move, which had initially seemed questionable, now came into play. The energy it generated surged toward the enemy, targeting the exact weak spot mentioned in the book, the waist and abdomen. The beast, caught off guard, roared in pain as the attack connected, proving its effectiveness. Seeing the direct hit, another fighter stepped forward, ready to capitalize on the moment. A smirk crossed his face as he acknowledged that the weak spot had been struck. Now, the real challenge was whether the enemy could endure what was coming next. The battlefield raged on, but with each moment, the recruits grew stronger and more confident in their strategies. The fight was far from over, but they had proven that teamwork and knowledge were just as crucial as raw strength. The Cat King let out a final agonized roar as the attack struck its weak point. Blood dripped from its wounds as it struggled to stay on its feet, but its strength quickly faded. The once mighty beast collapsed onto the battlefield, defeated. The recruits stood in stunned silence for a moment, watching the fallen enemy. They had fought hard, but had they really won? Then, confirmation came. Someone triumphantly announced that the Cat King had been defeated. Relief and excitement spread through the group as the realization set in. One of the recruits, still processing the moment, hesitated before asking if they had truly won. The battle had been intense, and victory felt almost surreal. Then, before he could react, a teammate rushed forward, embracing him in excitement. She praised him for his incredible feat, exclaiming that he had managed to defeat a gold Cat King. Still catching his breath, he stood there, dazed, wondering if it was really over. With the battle over, admiration for Subai spread among the recruits. They praised his strength, impressed by his victory over the gold Cat King. Some, however, were more interested in his turtle companion, wondering where they could get one for themselves. Meanwhile, Little Ba, the turtle, wandered off and found something intriguing in energy-filled crystal. As it happily grabbed its newfound prize, Subai called out in exasperation, demanding it return before causing trouble. Just then, an ominous presence filled the air. One of the recruits noticed something strange in the sky. Looking up, they saw dark shapes approaching fast. Realization hit. The Cat King's dying roar had not just been a cry of pain, but a call for its kin. Danger was far from over, and an even stronger threat might be on the way. At the base combat center, alarms rang as a report came in. Energy fluctuations from the front lines had revealed the emergence of multiple unidentified dangerous beasts at base F-269. A high-ranking officer was shocked to learn that Lin the Tiger's daughter was among the trainee students in the area. At the command center, Wen Yuan urgently requested full support for the battlefield. The officer in charge agreed to dispatch a scout battalion, but when Yuan refused to wait, he was heading there himself. Knowing the dire situation, he demanded reinforcements to arrive within 20 minutes. Though the officer hesitated at the short time frame, he had no choice but to issue the order immediately. Meanwhile, another officer analyzed the unfolding crisis. He realized that if Lin the Tiger were to lose control, Jiangju wouldn't be able to contain the disaster. The situation was spiraling out of control fast. Back on the battlefield, an even greater threat emerged. A towering, shadowy beast loomed above, its glowing eyes filled with malice. To the shock of the recruits, it spoke in the human language, insulting them as a lower species. The realization hit hard. Beasts capable of understanding and speaking like humans were supposed to be at the peak of the food chain, far beyond anything they should be encountering. Panic set in as they rushed to form a defensive formation, placing their wounded in the center. As the recruits caught their breath, a dark and menacing presence emerged. A massive shadowy beast loomed over the fallen Cat King, its sinister red eyes filled with rage. It growled in contempt, furious that mere humans had dared to slaughter its kin. Before anyone could react, the creature lunged at the Cat King's lifeless body, devouring it in an instant. The recruits stood frozen in horror. Something this powerful shouldn't even exist here. It was an impossibility, a nightmare come to life. A warning notification suddenly flashed in front of one of the recruits. The system detected an extreme threat. A gold-level beast had appeared. The message was clear. Immediate evacuation was the only chance of survival. Then, the true horror revealed itself. Standing before them was a mutated Shadow Cat King, a monstrous entity unlike anything they had faced before. The combat analysis was grim. It was bloodthirsty, with the ability to enter a frenzy state, doubling its attack power at the cost of its defense. Panic spread among the recruits as they faced the reality of their situation. A gold-level beast was something even their instructors had never encountered before. One of them broke down, terrified and desperate to leave, while another grimly pointed out that reinforcements hadn't arrived yet. With no other option, the deputy commander took charge. He ordered everyone to escort the wounded to safety, while he stayed behind to hold off the monstrous enemy. With a determined battle cry, he charged straight at the beast, ready to risk everything. However, his courage was met with brutal reality. The beast barely acknowledged his attack, swiping him aside effortlessly. The deputy commander was sent flying, the overwhelming power difference evident. The creature mocked him. Was he really foolish enough to challenge it alone? Seeing their leader in danger, one of the recruits quickly shouted for Little Ba to step in and protect him. The battle was far from over, but the gap in strength was becoming painfully clear. Little Ba launched itself into action, intercepting the gold-level beast's devastating attack. Flames and energy surged through the battlefield as the turtle bravely took on the monstrous foe, its shell acting as an impenetrable barrier. The beast staggered back in disbelief. Despite its overwhelming power, it couldn't break through the turtle's defenses. It was forced to acknowledge the creature's resilience. This turtle's shell was unbelievably tough. But even the strongest defense had its limits. Deep cracks formed across Little Ba's shell as it bore the brunt of the attack. One of the recruits rushed forward, eyes filled with concern, calling out to see if the brave turtle was still all right. Su Bai staggered, blood trickling from his lips. Lin Yanren, noticing his condition, immediately panicked. He was injured. But something was off. Su Bai wasn't in a direct fight, so how could he be wounded? Liao Yuxin, observing from a distance, couldn't believe it either. She speculated that this might be due to the beast tamer talent, Origin Confluence, a rare ability. The commander, however, found it hard to accept and decided to check on Su Bai himself. A system warning confirmed their suspicions. Su Bai's tamed beast was in critical condition, and because of Origin Confluence, he was sharing its pain and injuries. As they reached him, they found no external wounds, yet his body showed clear signs of strain. Yuxin marveled at the possibility that Su Bai had truly mastered this legendary beast-taming skill. Lin Yanren anxiously asked if he was alright, and despite his weakened state, Su Bai managed to assure them he was fine. Liao Yuxin quickly realized that Su Bai was suffering from the attacks meant for his tamed beast, the silver-level nether cat. Knowing he couldn't withstand the damage alone, she immediately called for support. Lin Yanren agreed they couldn't let him fight by himself. The other trainees rallied behind them, weapons drawn, ready to assist. Meanwhile, the enemy loomed in the shadows, glowing eyes burning with disdain. It scoffed at their efforts, viewing them as nothing more than insignificant pests. As the battle erupted, Liao Yuxin and the others charged forward, launching an assault on the beast. But just as she prepared to strike, something unexpected happened. Her expression changed as she sensed imminent danger. With wide eyes, she realized she had miscalculated. Lin Yanren rushed forward, pushing Su Bai out of harm's way as a dark force surged toward them. A massive explosion erupted, engulfing the battlefield in flames. As the smoke cleared, Lin Yanren held onto Su Bai, her eyes widening in disbelief. Su Bai, now steady, smirked with confidence. He revealed that the crystallization of the Silver Cat King had finally been fully absorbed. Su Bai's tamed beast, the little tortoise, had undergone a breakthrough, advancing to bronze tier with significantly enhanced attributes. Its new talents granted it a powerful defensive barrier, a spirit-infused form for combat, and even the ability to manipulate gravity. A brilliant golden light engulfed the battlefield as the tortoise evolved into a massive armored beast. Liu Yuxin and the commander could hardly believe their eyes. This wasn't an ordinary upgrade. Could it have reached an epic-level transformation? Meanwhile, Lin Yanren helped Su Bai to his feet, relieved to see that his injuries had healed. Su Bai assured her that he was fine now. Su Bai stood tall, commanding his tamed beast to eliminate the enemy. In response, the newly evolved tortoise unleashed its power, striking with devastating force. The monstrous foe was sent flying, crashing into the ground with immense impact. The commander, unable to believe what he had just witnessed, noted that despite only being bronze tier, Su Bai's beast radiated an overwhelming presence. As the dust settled, the once dominant beast lay defeated, thrown into the distance like it was nothing. The Cat King, enraged by its defeat, let out a terrifying roar as dark energy crackled around it. Consumed by fury, it declared its intent to annihilate everyone. Seeing its berserk transformation, the commander urgently warned the team to retreat. This fight had escalated beyond expectations. With a sinister laugh, the Cat King unleashed its shadow clones, summoning multiple monstrous figures that lunged toward the group. There was no time to escape. Combat was inevitable. Before the clones could reach their targets, Su Bai's tamed beast took action. The golden tortoise roared, its immense body shielding the team from the incoming attack. Su Bai didn't hesitate. He commanded his beast to put an end to the chaos. In an instant, a powerful gravitational force erupted from the tortoise, pulling everything toward it. One of the trainees struggled to defend himself as a shadow beast lunged at him, its claws aimed for a lethal strike. But before it could land, a massive force pulled the creature away. Su Bai's tamed beast unleashed its gravitational might, sending the enemies hurtling through the air. With an earth-shattering roar, the armored tortoise stood tall, radiating an unstoppable power. Su Bai's eyes burned with determination as he commanded his beast to go all out. Responding to its master's call, the golden tortoise let out a deafening roar, gathering an overwhelming surge of energy in its core. The air trembled as it unleashed a massive energy blast, a blinding beam of golden light shooting toward the heavens. The shockwave from the attack spread across the battlefield, forcing everyone to shield themselves. As the golden energy engulfed the battlefield, the enemy was completely overpowered. From a distance, a man watched from atop a tree, intrigued by the overwhelming scene before him. Down below, the surviving warriors scrambled to clear the battlefield, tending to the wounded and gathering what remained. After the battle settled, the man approached, relieved to see Lin Yanren unharmed. She assured him that she was fine, then curiously asked about his sudden arrival. Meanwhile, the deputy commander of the F-269 military base provided a report. During the battle, their forces worked alongside university students and mentors, eliminating over 800 nether cats, including bronze, silver, and even a gold-level beast. He explained that they were now assessing casualties and tending to the wounded. Shocked by the mention of a gold-level creature, one of the officers couldn't believe such a powerful foe had appeared. But what surprised him even more was that Su Bai had been the one to take it down. Hearing this, the man now identified as Mr. Wenyuan turned his attention to Su Bai. He directly asked if he had truly been responsible for the Cat King's defeat. Remaining humble, Su Bai clarified that it was a team effort, acknowledging the contributions of the deputy commander and the mentors. Mr. Wenyuan approached Su Bai with an offer. After graduation, he could further his studies at Yangzhou Fortress, where he would receive personal guidance despite the decline of beast tamers. Su Bai, though honored, admitted he hadn't made a decision yet. Meanwhile, the battlefield had been cleared, and the deputy commander gave the order for everyone to return to base. The students were instructed to enter the portal in an orderly fashion, with the deputy commander praising them as the strongest group he had ever encountered. As they prepared to leave, the officers observed the recruits, noting their potential. Su Bai, in particular, stood out. His strength as a freshman was nearly unimaginable. As the teams parted ways, the deputy commander expressed his gratitude, acknowledging that he owed Su Bai a life for his actions in the battle. Liu Yuxin responded modestly, bidding him farewell until they met again. Su Bai and the others finally returned, stepping out of the portal. For some, the mission had been thrilling, while for others, it was an experience they wouldn't forget anytime soon. At the university, a grand welcome awaited them. Faculty and students hailed them as heroes, celebrating their return. Among the returning students, some were humbled, recognizing that Su Bai was the true hero of the battle. Others were just relieved to have made it back alive, reflecting on how many of their classmates hadn't been as fortunate. As the students returned, they were praised for their achievements, with their battlefield performance set to be one of the highest in history. However, for Subai and many others, the only thing they cared about was getting some well-earned rest. Back at the dorms, exhaustion hit them all at once. The beds had never felt so comfortable, and the reality of surviving such an intense battle started to sink in. Some students reflected on their achievements, wondering how their military contributions would be rewarded. With Subai taking down a gold-level beast, they joked that he could trade his merits for an entire stash of training resources. One of the students asked about Subai's turtle, considering getting one as a pet for its calming presence. Subai hesitated, knowing full well that his little tortoise was far from ordinary. Loud knocking echoes through the dormitory, waking Jayagang up. Still half asleep, he groggily complains about the noise, questioning who would be knocking so early. Rubbing his eyes, he reluctantly makes his way to the door and opens it, only to be caught off guard by the unexpected sight before him. Standing outside are several senior female students from the Jiangwu Student Council, holding breakfast and smiling warmly. They cheerfully introduce themselves, explaining that since the juniors had just returned from the battlefield, they decided to bring them food as a reward. One of them teasingly warns that since the meals were personally prepared by their senior sisters, no one is allowed to complain. Still struggling to process what's happening, Jayagang looks on in confusion as the students then ask which one of them is Subai. The senior students confidently enter the dorm, assuring the juniors that they appreciate their efforts and won't let their kindness go to waste. However, they remain focused on their primary concern, finding Subai. They ask once again, eager to meet him. One of the dorm residents, still in his pajamas, looks confused but asks if he can take a photo with them. Meanwhile, another dormmate informs them that Subai has already gone out for a run, questioning if they personally know him. The senior students are momentarily frustrated, wondering why no one mentioned Subai's absence earlier. One of them remarks that Subai has become incredibly well known, implying that practically everyone in the school knows about him now. However, she laments that Subai himself doesn't seem to know her. Curious about Subai's rising fame, one of the juniors wonders if he has become popular. The senior students confirm this, suggesting they turn on the TV to see for themselves. As the conversation continues, one of the seniors playfully decides to take the breakfast away, since Subai isn't there to receive it. While Subai is out on his morning run, an urgent news broadcast airs on the country's military channel, drawing attention from students on campus. The news report announces a major event just the previous day. A large-scale attack occurred across multiple military bases, led by 10,000 races of ferocious beasts. The attacks devastated several provinces, leading to chaos and destruction. The report highlights that among these beasts, some exhibited golden-level combat power, making the battle even more intense. Many students from different regions lost their lives in the onslaught, unable to withstand the overwhelming force of the beasts. However, amidst the tragedy, there was also resistance. The broadcast then shifts focus to Jiangsu Martial University, where both instructors and students fought bravely against the invading creatures. Their efforts led to the defeat of several high-ranking beasts, including one golden-level ferocious beast, a silver-level beast, multiple bronze-level creatures, and countless ordinary monsters. The news serves as a reminder of the harsh reality of battle, but also a testament to the strength and resilience of those who stood their ground. The news broadcast takes an unexpected turn as it highlights Subai, a first-year student who astonishingly held back a golden-level ferocious beast single-handedly. Despite being under heavy attack, he achieved the remarkable feat of cross-tier killing, fighting alongside instructors and military experts. The report emphasizes that while many forces were overwhelmed, Jiangsu Martial University stood victorious, proving their strength in battle. Following this revelation, the military announces honors for the university's participants. All involved students and instructors will receive a second-class merit and be awarded the Great Wall Silver Medal. However, Subai, recognized for his outstanding military achievements, is granted a first-class merit and receives the prestigious Great Wall Golden Medal, a highly coveted honor. As the news spreads, students across campus react in disbelief. The idea that a freshman could receive such a prestigious award is almost unimaginable. Many express admiration, wondering who Subai really is and how he managed such an accomplishment. Some see him as a symbol of hope for humanity, while others simply want to meet him. Amidst the growing attention, one enthusiastic girl boldly proclaims that she wants to date Su-bai, sending the crowd into an excited frenzy. Meanwhile, Su-bai, realizing the sudden spotlight on him, starts feeling overwhelmed and contemplates making a quiet escape before things spiral out of control. After stepping away from the crowd, Su-bai takes a moment to process everything that has happened. Just as he tries to clear his head, his phone suddenly rings. On the other end is his excited younger sister, who eagerly tells him that he's on TV. Su-bai, already aware of the situation, responds nonchalantly. She then informs him that their parents want him to come home for a visit and treat him to a meal, but Su-bai hesitates, wondering if it's really necessary. Back home, his parents are overwhelmed with pride. His father mentions how all the neighbors are talking about him, and his mother adds that a relative even called, eager to introduce him to a potential girlfriend. His sister, realizing the growing attention on their family, urges him to return soon before people start showing up at their house uninvited. After considering everything, Su-bai decides to take a short break and visit home since his tests have just ended. He acknowledges that his sudden fame will likely make his father so proud that he'll be grinning in his sleep. As Su-bai arrives home, he is immediately met with an overwhelming reception. The entire neighborhood seems to be gathered, excitedly announcing his return as if welcoming a legendary hero. Caught off guard, Su-bai is bewildered by the attention, questioning whether all of this excitement is really for him. Before he can process it, a crowd quickly surrounds him, showering him with praise. Familiar faces from his childhood emerge, eagerly reminding him of their past connections. The overwhelming enthusiasm makes Su-bai realize that his sudden fame has spread far beyond what he expected. As he finally steps into his home, his family rushes to greet him. His sister excitedly throws her arms open, thrilled that he has returned, while his parents beam with pride. The warm welcome, though intense, reminds Su-bai that no matter how much his world changes, his family will always be his anchor. As soon as Su-bai arrives, the overwhelming hospitality of his neighbors kicks in. One of his aunts invites him over for dinner, proudly announcing that she made seafood dumplings, only for Su-bai to politely decline, explaining that he is allergic. Another enthusiastic neighbor insists on bringing him over for a drink, boasting about a special dish he has prepared just for the occasion. Realizing that the situation is getting out of hand, Su-bai's father steps in, thanking everyone for their kindness but explaining that the family has already prepared a meal at home. He assures them that once things settle down, Su-bai will make time to visit each of them. Su-bai agrees, knowing he can't refuse everyone outright, but hoping to escape the immediate flood of invitations. The situation takes a turn when one of the elders eagerly suggests introducing Su-bai to her granddaughter, hoping to set them up. Before Su-bai can even react, another person interjects, claiming that she isn't worthy and that they should introduce him to someone else instead. Overwhelmed and unsure of how to respond, Su-bai finds himself stuck in the middle of their matchmaking plans. Later, back home, Su-bai vents to his sister, regretting that he didn't sneak in under the cover of darkness to avoid all the attention. His sister laughs, teasing him that it wouldn't have mattered one of their aunts had already stationed herself near their house, waiting to introduce her granddaughter to him no matter what. Realizing he's completely trapped by his newfound fame, Su-bai sighs, wondering how long this chaotic homecoming will last. After the chaotic welcome from his neighbors, Su-bai finally makes it home, where his parents prepare a warm family meal. His mother informs him that his father is personally cooking today, and she asks his sister to assist in the kitchen while telling Su-bai to take a break. Dropping his bag onto the couch, Su-bai slumps down and stretches, savoring the rare moment of peace. He leans back, relieved to finally take a breather after everything that has happened. A glowing Sitem screen suddenly appears before him, flickering with mysterious data. Shocked, Su-bai instinctively reacts, raising his hand as he tries to comprehend what's happening. As Su-bai stares at the system window, a message appears, notifying him that a contractable creature has been detected, a little kitten. The system prompts him with a choice, tame or give up. Confused by the sudden activation of what seems to be a Beastmaster ability, he hesitates, trying to make sense of it. His sister notices his distracted state and asks what's wrong. Su-bai, still bewildered, turns to her and asks if their family has a cat. She casually confirms, directing his attention to their pet. Looking over, Su-bai spots a small white kitten happily eating from its bowl. He questions if this is the creature the system was referring to and jokingly wonders if they could have gotten a more high-end pet. His sister, clearly attached to the kitten, defends it, saying it's adorable. She explains that she found Bai a few days ago on the road and decided to bring him home. Still processing the strange system prompt, Su-bai watches the little kitten, wondering if there's more to this unexpected situation than meets the eye. Seeing how much his sister adores the kitten, Su-bai decides to go along with it, agreeing that it's cute. However, his curiosity lingers as he glances at the system screen, which has revealed surprising information. The kitten, seemingly an ordinary stray, actually possesses a lineage of the white tiger's sacred beast and has the potential to grow infinitely strong, eventually capable of slaying gods. Shocked by this revelation, Su-bai struggles to believe that this small creature could be so powerful. The system further details its stats, showing its talents, including sharp claws that double both attack speed and power, and its evolution method eating. Confronted with the choice once again, Su-bai hesitates only briefly before deciding that taming it first would be the safest option. As he prepares to confirm the selection, his sister cheerfully comments that the kitten seems to like him. Su-bai takes this moment to confess something important. He's now a beastmaster, someone who can form powerful bonds with creatures. With a playful smile, he asks if he can keep Bai for himself, suggesting that the kitten might be more than just a household pet. Su-bai's attempt to claim Bai as his own is met with instant resistance. His sister, visibly shocked and furious, shouts in defiance, refusing to give up her beloved pet. Su-bai, unfazed by her reaction, tries to reason with her. With a smirk, he hints that negotiation is always an option. Sensing an opportunity, he casually suggests offering her a laptop in exchange for the kitten. Determined to convince her, Su-bai ups the ante, reminding her about a dress she had been eyeing. But before he can even finish his sentence, his sister dashes away, declaring that there will be no negotiations whatsoever. Amused, Su-bai chases after her, trying to bargain while she evades him at all costs. Their mother watches the ridiculous scene, completely bewildered by their antics, questioning what on earth is happening between the two siblings. After 2 days at home, Su-bai finally returns to campus, relieved yet slightly exhausted. As he walks through the school gates, students begin whispering, questioning if he's really Su-bai. Some recognize him as the one who received the golden medal, but others are more puzzled by the sight of a cat peeking out of his bag, wondering if he's secretly a cat lover. Inside the bag, Bai, the white kitten, shares the cramped space with a small, confident lizard, who reassures Bai that as long as they're with the big boss Su-bai, they'll be fine. However, Bai seems annoyed by the lack of space, grumbling about being crowded. As Su-bai walks across campus, more students take notice of him. Some seem unimpressed by his average appearance, yet they're shocked by how many girls visit his dorm looking for him. Realizing that his fame isn't dying down anytime soon, Su-bai internally debates wearing a mask to avoid unwanted attention. Before he can settle back into campus life, an urgent announcement echoes across the school, summoning him to the principal's office. Hearing his name repeated over the loudspeakers, Su-bai sighs his return to school is already off to an eventful start. As Su-bai makes his way to the principal's office, he wonders what exactly the principal could want from him. Upon arrival, the principal warmly welcomes him, praising him as a true man of Huaxia for his outstanding performance at the F-269 military base. As a reward for his achievements, the principal offers Su-bai a chance to request anything he wants from the school. Though Su-bai responds humbly, thanking the school and principal, he internally knows that getting anything valuable won't be easy. With the principal known for being notoriously stingy, even securing a little food money for Zio by his kitten could be a struggle. After a moment of thought, Su-bai pretends to be considerate, suggesting that he doesn't want the school to spend too much on his reward. Then, with a completely straight face, he requests 100 golden tier beast cores, an incredibly high-value resource. The principal is completely stunned by Su-bai's request for 100 golden tier beast cores, nearly choking in disbelief. He exclaims that even if Su-bai were to break his bones, there's no way the school could provide such an outrageous reward. Frustrated, he even jokingly offers to hand over his position as principal instead. Seeing the reaction he expected, Su-bai quickly lowers his demand, saying that 100 silver tier beast cores would also be acceptable. However, the principal immediately shuts down that idea, reminding Su-bai that his current military merit isn't even enough for a fraction of that. Still determined, Su-bai tries to bargain, suggesting that the school could exchange the golden medal he received for 50 silver tier beast cores instead. He emphasizes how much he has sacrificed for the school, trying to guilt-trip the principal into agreeing. The principal, however, shifts gears, giving Su-bai a serious speech about the responsibility of the strong to protect the weak. He insists that saving people should be Su-bai's mission, emphasizing the moral duty of his strength. Su-bai listens but remains silent, knowing full well this is just an excuse to avoid giving him his reward. Not wanting to waste more time on empty words, Su-bai cuts off the speech, firmly stating that they should skip the nonsense and just give him 50 silver tier beast cores. Realizing that Su-bai won't back down, the principal finally relents, acknowledging Su-bai's talent and agreeing that the military and school won't let a genius like him go to waste. The principal, after much hesitation, finally makes a decision he will give Su-bai 10 bronze tier beast cores. Su-bai is immediately outraged, exclaiming that such a low-tier reward is unacceptable. Not willing to back down, Su-bai pushes for at least 20. However, the principal flares up, countering with a firm offer of 15 cores, take it or leave it. Realizing he won't get anything more out of this negotiation, Su-bai accepts the deal, though internally he finds the whole situation ridiculous. He mentally notes that the principal is as stingy as expected, clearly unwilling to part with better rewards. Just as he's about to leave, the principal stops him, saying there's one more small matter to discuss. Su-bai, already skeptical, wonders what kind of trouble is coming next. The principal observes that young people are becoming harder to deceive, acknowledging his own reputation as a schemer. Su-bai silently agrees with the rumors, confirming the principal's shrewd nature. The setting shifts to a large hall where the principal addresses a gathered group of students. He informs them that the 100 Schools League is now under military organization. While their school lacks the same level of resources as elite institutions like Imperial City Martial University and Magic City Martial University, he expresses his hopes that they can still achieve great results. With preparations underway, roll call begins. The first name called is Hu Qingshu, a third-year student with bronze intermediate wood ability, who promptly responds. As more names are read out, students including Bai Ningbing and Xing Changxiang acknowledge their presence, standing ready for the upcoming challenge. As the roll call continues, Feng Juge's name is called. Meanwhile, a conversation starts between two students about the unfairness of their school's situation. They note that Jiangsu Martial University was established later than other prestigious institutions, meaning it receives fewer training resources. This lack of support has led to consistently low rankings for their school in previous years. The roll call proceeds with names like Su-bai, a first-year student, and Zhang Mani, who both confirm their presence. More students, including Luo Yongkang, are called, and with that, the roll call concludes. The principal, standing before the assembled students, addresses them. He announces that this year, 10 representatives from their school will participate in the 100 Schools League, emphasizing that they are the most outstanding students from each grade. However, before proceeding further, he has an important announcement to make. The principal makes a surprising announcement: Su-bai will be the captain of the school's 100 Schools League team. The students react with shock, and Su-bai himself is caught off guard, questioning if there has been some mistake. One of the students steps forward, arguing that this decision is unfair. He points out that Senior Qingshu is the strongest among them in both power and experience, making him the more obvious choice for captain. Others agree, emphasizing that Su-bai is only a bronze beginner-level power user, a whole rank below Qingshu, and question why a freshman should be leading them. The principal, however, remains firm in his decision. He reminds everyone that Su-bai's strength has already been proven. He was able to slay a gold-tier vicious beast, a feat none of the other students have accomplished. Some students refuse to accept Su-bai as captain, questioning whether he really defeated a gold-tier vicious beast or if it was just luck. Doubting his strength, they directly challenge him, demanding a battle to prove his worth. Another student joins in, eager to test Su-bai himself. Feeling overwhelmed, Su-bai tries to explain that he had nothing to do with the decision and never expected to be chosen as captain. Internally, he realizes that the principal has made him a target for criticism and potential fights. Before the situation escalates, the principal intervenes, dismissing further disputes and instructing everyone to focus on preparing for the upcoming 100 Schools League, which is less than 20 days away. He encourages the students to train hard and show their best performance. Seeing an opportunity to escape, Su-bai quickly makes a run for it, pretending to have urgent matters to attend to. As he dashes off, the other students call after him, demanding answers. Meanwhile, he can't help but note how quickly the principal left the scene, avoiding any further arguments. After Su-bai hurriedly leaves, the skeptical students continue to mock him, refusing to believe he actually defeated a gold-tier vicious beast. One of them calls him a coward, convinced it must have been luck. Another, smirking, says there's no need to rush once they reach the 100 Schools League. They'll make sure Su-bai regrets being chosen as captain. Meanwhile, Su-bai returns to his dorm, excited to train and level up. He calls out to Xiao-ba, preparing to feed and strengthen his beast companions. As he sits down with his white cat, Xiao-bai, he acknowledges that the principal kept his word, providing him with 15 bronze-tier beast cores, which should be enough to boost their strength. He affectionately feeds Xiao-ba, calling it a little foodie, while assuring Xiao-bai that there's something for it as well. The two eagerly devour their food, looking forward to growing stronger. Su-bai continues feeding his two beast companions, Xiao-bai, the white cat, and Xiao-ba, the turtle. He notices that Xiao-bai's level is too low, so he starts by giving it a Kai blood elixir to boost its strength. Meanwhile, Xiao-ba keeps eating non-stop, astonishing Su-bai with its enormous appetite. As Xiao-ba devours more resources, Su-bai realizes that each bite costs a fortune, possibly worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. Frustrated, he questions just how much food the turtle needs to evolve. With only a few resources left, Su-bai warns Xiao-ba that if it still doesn't evolve, he'll give the remaining items to Xiao-bai instead. Just as he says this, Xiao-ba suddenly reacts, glowing with intense energy. Lightning crackles around it as its body begins to change, signaling that the long-awaited evolution is finally happening. As Xiao-ba continues to absorb energy, an intense golden light bursts from its body, signaling the start of its evolution. Su-bai watches in awe as the powerful transformation takes place. Meanwhile, outside the dormitory, the ground shakes violently, causing panic among the students. Some wonder if it's an earthquake, unaware that the tremors are a result of Xiao-ba's evolution. A notification screen appears, confirming that Xiao-ba has successfully upgraded to bronze intermediate level. Moreover, 30% of its Xuanwu Black Tortoise bloodline has been activated, significantly boosting its attributes and talents. Its defense has skyrocketed to 862, and it has acquired powerful abilities, including the Xuanwu Barrier, Turtle Spirit Possession, and Xuanwu Gravity, making it a formidable beast. Su-bai is thrilled, realizing that although Xiao-ba didn't gain new talents, its existing abilities and stats have drastically improved, making it far stronger than before. After Xiao-ba's evolution, Su-bai is thrilled to see that Xiao-bai has also leveled up. The system notification confirms that Xiao-bai has upgraded to a high-level normal beast, awakening a powerful new talent, Ghostly Phantom Step. Additionally, it possesses the White Tiger Sacred Beast bloodline, meaning it has limitless potential for future growth. Xiao-bai's stats have also significantly improved, with its agility increasing explosively, making it much faster and deadlier in combat. Su-bai is ecstatic, realizing that both of his tamed beasts have successfully evolved, strengthening his team immensely. Meanwhile, Su-bai himself has also advanced to the bronze intermediate level, gaining attribute boosts from both Xiao-bai and Xiao-ba. His constitution, agility, and spirit have all improved, and he now benefits from powerful talents, including infinite evolution of contracted beasts, universal beast taming skills, and origin confluence, allowing him to share energy and damage with his tamed beasts. Now, with his newfound strength and his beasts at their peak, Su-bai looks ahead with excitement, ready to prove himself and his companions on the grand stage of the 100 Schools League. At Jeonju Martial University's library, a student is impressed by its massive size, not expecting it to be this grand. Inside, he approaches the librarian to access resources. The librarian proudly explains that the library is the foundation of the university, existing even before the school itself, highlighting its deep historical significance. As she processes his request, she is surprised that he, a freshman, already has 180 credits, which is quite unusual. She then directs him to the section containing books on beast taming, telling him to browse freely for any information he needs. Thanking her, he heads towards the bookshelves. Entering the section, he notices a vast collection of beast taming books and realizes that it will take a considerable amount of time to go through all the available materials. Determined, he prepares himself to dive into the study ahead. As Su-bai browses through the bookshelves, he comes across a book by someone named Luo Fan, a name that feels oddly familiar to him. Curious, he picks up the book and begins reading, coming across passages about the convergence of heaven and earth, the undying soul, and the gathering of divine weapons and sacred beasts. The text intrigues him, particularly a concept called origin confluence, which he realizes he has already mastered. However, the phrases about the undying soul and sacred beasts being armed leave him with lingering questions. As he continues to read while walking through the library, a few other students notice him. Recognizing him as the freshman they've heard about, they seem unimpressed. One of them dismisses beast tamers, claiming that no matter how much they study, their future is bleak. Instead of paying him much attention, they decide to head elsewhere. As Su-bai continues reading, he becomes more fascinated by Luo Fan's legacy. He learns that this powerful senior created 3 divine skills: origin confluence, sacred beasts armed, and undying soul. Not only that, but he once fought alone against an invasion from various tribes, displaying unmatched strength. However, despite his incredible abilities, he was ultimately outnumbered and fell on the battlefield. Realizing the significance of this knowledge, Su-bai decides to study the book carefully. Suddenly, something strange happens. His eyes widen in shock as an unusual energy stirs within him. The book begins to glow and float in the air, radiating an intense golden light. He feels a mysterious force flowing into his body, leaving him both amazed and confused by the supernatural occurrence unfolding before him. After experiencing the strange energy from the book, Su-bai takes it to the librarian and asks if he can borrow it. The librarian greets him and takes the book to check its classification. However, she quickly realizes something odd. It has no library label and may not belong to the collection. Confused, Su-bai insists that he found it on the bookshelf. As she inspects the book further, something even stranger happens. No matter how hard she tries, she cannot open it. Shocked, she struggles with the book, unable to understand why it won't budge. Su-bai, who was reading it just moments ago without any issue, is equally surprised and steps in to take a closer look. The librarian remains puzzled about how the book refuses to open in her hands while Su-bai holds it with ease. Deciding that something unusual must have happened, she allows him to take it, instructing him to return it whenever he is done. Su-bai asks if he can borrow it indefinitely, and when she confirms, he thanks her and leaves. After he is gone, the librarian makes a phone call to the principal, informing him that the mysterious book he left on the shelf has been taken by Su-bai. The principal is shocked to hear that Su-bai was able to open the book. As he processes this revelation, a pleased expression crosses his face, and he acknowledges the development as something very good. The principal, standing in his office, reflects on the recent events. He speaks as if addressing someone from the past, stating that after 100 years, the person Luo Fan had been waiting for has finally appeared. He imagines that if Luo Fan's spirit in the underworld knew about this, he would be pleased. 2 weeks later, Jeongju Martial University becomes the stage for an important event, the 100 Schools League. A large welcome sign is displayed as buses arrive from various universities. The competition is divided into 5 major battle zones: East, South, West, North, and Central, with each zone selecting 2 qualifying teams. A reporter covers the event, explaining that 8 martial universities from Jeongju Province will be competing at Jeongju Martial University. Meanwhile, a cheerful live streamer excitedly tells his audience that tickets for the tournament are scarce, promising to broadcast the entire event and even give out small gifts to viewers. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation as the competition is about to begin. Meanwhile, tensions rise as students from different martial universities arrive. A group clad in red uniforms from Longying Martial University is immediately met with hostility from Fuchuan University's team, dressed in blue and white. The 2 sides exchange sharp words, with one mocking Longying for showing up just to be beaten, while the other fires back, insisting that the outcome is far from decided. Their rivalry is evident as they prepare to prove themselves in the competition. Inside the grand tournament arena, spectators are left in awe as they witness the vast battlefield where the matches will take place. The stadium is packed, and anticipation runs high. Backstage, a team gathers and checks for their members. They realize that Subai, their team captain, has not yet arrived. Concerned but confident, one of them reassures the others, stating that Subai would never back out at the last minute. However, his absence leaves a lingering sense of unease as the matches draw closer. Just as his teammates begin to worry, Subai makes his entrance, confident and determined. He dismisses the idea of backing out at the last minute, stepping forward with newfound strength. His presence surprises everyone despite only a few days passing. His aura feels much stronger than before. Standing before Teacher Liao, Subai reassures her that he has everything under control. With the match about to begin, she informs him that they still need to finalize their lineup. But he confidently states that he has already made all the necessary preparations. As the tournament commences, the stadium's large screens display a grim report. A month ago, the myriad beast clans launched a large-scale assault, forcing the military to focus on the front lines. Meanwhile, smaller groups of beasts infiltrated rear military bases, causing devastation. The report reveals a shocking reality: Marshall University students in the affected regions suffered catastrophic losses, with fewer than 1 in 100 surviving. The atmosphere in the stadium turns somber as the gravity of the situation sinks in. A passionate announcer, filled with intensity, addresses the crowd, rallying them with a powerful call to action. He asks if they are ready to avenge those lost in the myriad beast clan attacks, igniting a surge of emotions among the audience. The crowd erupts with fury and determination, chanting their resolve to defeat the vicious beasts and ensure victory for humanity. Seeing this strong response, the announcer praises their fighting spirit, declaring that such determination is the essence of the 100 Schools League. With this declaration, he officially opens the Jiangsu Provincial League, signaling the beginning of the tournament. He then explains the rules. The tournament will follow a team battle format, with each team consisting of up to 5 participants per match. The last standing team member determines the winner, while defeated opponents are eliminated from further participation. With that, the next step is to randomly draw matchups, setting the stage for the first battles of the competition. The tournament matchups are displayed on the large screen, revealing the first round of battles. Longying Marshall University will face Zinmin Marshall University, followed by Jiangsu Marshall University against Qingyuan Marshall University. Other matches include Fuchuan vs Zichang and Eni vs Jiangsu. The announcer calls for the first participants to enter the battlefield. Meanwhile, Teacher Liao and the others discuss their upcoming match. They acknowledge that Longying is already engaged in battle and realize they still haven't finalized their team lineup. At that moment, the principal arrives, directly asking Subai if he has arranged the lineup. Subai, with his usual confidence, responds casually he will go first, leaving the rest of the team to decide among themselves. His relaxed attitude surprises his teammates, causing mixed reactions. One of them, in disbelief, questions if this is really his strategy for the match. As the team discusses their strategy, some express concerns about Subai's decision to go first without considering Qingyuan Marshall University's lineup. One of them worries about the humiliation their school might face if Subai were to lose. However, Subai confidently reassures them that he won't disappoint them. The principal, observing Subai's rapid progress, is impressed by how much he has improved in just a few days. However, he also pulls Subai aside and jokingly warns him not to go too far, advising him to leave some chances for the seniors. He hints that if Subai offends too many strong opponents, it could make his future at the university difficult. Meanwhile, the first match between Longying Marshall University and Zinmin Marshall University reaches its conclusion. A decisive attack sends a competitor flying out of the arena, and the victory is declared in Zinmin's favor. With Zinmin Marshall University swiftly defeating Longying, the competition proves to be fiercer than expected. Teacher Liao acknowledges their strength but quickly shifts focus. It's now Subai's turn to take the stage. Without hesitation, Subai confidently strides forward, telling everyone to watch closely. His composed demeanor draws mixed reactions. Some are eager to witness his capabilities, while others remain skeptical about his strength. From the stands, Subai's supporters cheer loudly, urging him to win the championship. Among them is a red-haired girl in a white coat, passionately rooting for him alongside Jaegang, who appears just as excited for the upcoming battle. Stepping onto the grand stage, Su-bai faces his opponent in the massive arena. With the match set to begin, the anticipation reaches its peak. It's time to prove himself in the 100 Schools League. Lai Lingfeng, the squad captain of Qingyan Martial University, stepped onto the stage, exuding confidence as he prepared to display his strength. He was eager to demonstrate what true power looked like. Meanwhile, Su-bai calmly called out his tamed beast Xiaoba, which immediately caught Lingfeng's attention. He seemed unimpressed, questioning if that little creature was really Su-bai's companion for the competition. Lingfeng couldn't hold back his laughter, mocking Su-bai for bringing what looked like a household pet into the tournament. As Su-bai casually drank his soda, he nonchalantly mentioned that he was in a rush that morning and hadn't even eaten yet. The audience erupted in disbelief. Spectators openly ridiculed Su-bai, wondering why he would bring such a weak-looking creature into a serious competition. Some even criticized Jiangsu Martial University, claiming the school had lost all credibility by allowing someone like Su-bai to participate. As Su-bai casually ate peanuts and drank cola on stage, the spectators, including Liu Yuxin and others, were in disbelief. They couldn't understand why he seemed so relaxed when facing a mid-bronze rank opponent. Some even questioned if he was underestimating his opponent too much. Meanwhile, Su-bai turned to Xiaoba, reminding it that after consuming so many beast cores, it shouldn't embarrass him now. As the battle commenced, Xiaoba unleashed an unexpected surge of power, shocking Lai Lingfeng. He couldn't believe the energy radiating from the small creature. In an instant, Xiaoba's body began to transform, its legs glowing and growing larger. As Xiaoba transformed into its black tortoise form, its sheer size and power overwhelmed Lai Lingfeng, who found himself staring up at the massive beast in terror. The crowd erupted in shock at the sight of the enormous turtle. Spectators couldn't believe how massive it had grown, with some comparing its eye size to a basketball. The discussion quickly shifted from disbelief to admiration as people noticed its metallic, armor-like skin and powerful claws. Some even began to understand why Su-bai had the strength to take down a gold-ranked beast. The astonishment continued as others in the audience realized the sheer power Xiaoba now possessed. It looked strong enough to crush opponents with a single slap. Those who knew Su-bai were left wondering when his beast had become so formidable, while others simply acknowledged that Su-bai had grown far stronger than they had expected. Su-bai sipping his soda as he casually gave Xiaoba the order to finish the fight quickly. Lai Lingfeng, still confident, barely had time to react as Xiaoba launched its attack. He barely managed to register what was happening before the massive turtle's strike came crashing down with incredible force. The sheer speed and power of the attack left Lingfeng stunned. Before he could properly react, he was already sent flying, crashing hard onto the battlefield. Lying on the ground, he gasped in disbelief, unable to comprehend how a turtle could move so fast. Su-bai casually told Lai Lingfeng to hold on just a little longer. He wanted to finish his cola before this fight ended. Determined to turn the battle around, Lingfeng convinced himself that Xiaoba's attack had been nothing more than a sneak attack. He steeled himself, deciding to unleash his full power. If Su-bai thought he was tough, then Lingfeng would show him who was truly stronger. With that, his body underwent a transformation, his entire form turning into solid rock. Lai Lingfeng charged forward with his rock-infused fists, determined to take Xiaoba head-on. However, before he could even land a hit, the massive turtle retaliated with a single, devastating slap. In an instant, Lingfeng was sent flying off the battlefield, crashing hard, his defeat undeniable. The spectators were left in stunned silence as the match ended in a blink of an eye. Among the observers, disbelief spread rapidly. Some couldn't believe Su-bai had actually won, while others acknowledged the sheer power of his tamed beast. Even experienced figures watching the match admitted that the younger generation was proving to be truly formidable. Meanwhile, discussions erupted among the crowd, with some mocking Lingfeng's inability to dodge such an obvious attack. However, a few spectators pointed out the simple physics Zyoba's movements might not have seemed fast, but its sheer size and weight made its attack unstoppable. The audience was left stunned after Zyoba's overwhelming victory. Even a mid-tier bronze-level ability user had been unable to stop it, proving that this turtle was an unstoppable force. Some spectators were in disbelief. How could a beast capable of taking down a gold-level opponent be so easy to defeat? Meanwhile, others who had known Tsubai before were amazed at how much stronger Zyoba had become. With the first match officially over, Tsubai was declared the winner. However, there was no time to celebrate as the second contestant from Qingyan Martial University, Zhang Xuan, was called to the stage. Zhang Xuan, a mid-bronze rank warrior, strategized her approach before the battle even began. She knew she couldn't let Zyoba get close and decided to rely on her superior speed to take control of the fight. As soon as the match started, she moved at lightning speed, dashing around Zyoba in an attempt to stay out of its range. Zhang Xuan expertly used her speed to her advantage, staying just outside Zyoba's attack range. The audience immediately noticed the difference in strategy compared to the previous fight, with some even mocking Li Lingfeng for his reckless approach. Confident in her abilities, Zhang Xuan remained focused, believing that one well-timed strike would be enough to secure victory. She patiently waited for the perfect moment to strike while keeping her movements unpredictable. Meanwhile, spectators watching the fight analyzed the situation. Liu Yuxin and another instructor observed that Tsubai seemed to be underestimating his opponent, as Zyoba had been unable to land a single hit due to Zhang Xuan's superior agility. Tsubai remained as casual as ever, lazily sitting beside Zyoba while sipping his soda. Zyoba suddenly slammed the ground with overwhelming force, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Zhang Xuan caught mid-air, barely managed to evade, but acknowledged the sheer strength of the turtle. She landed skillfully, steadying herself for a counterattack. However, realizing the difficulty of facing Zyoba head-on, she quickly shifted her strategy. Instead of continuing the fight against the beast, she made a split-second decision to target the beast tamer directly. With lightning speed, she dashed towards Tsubai, hoping to turn the tide of the battle before it was too late. Tsubai, unfazed as ever, simply sipped his soda, as if the entire fight was nothing more than an afterthought. As Zhang Xuan made her move towards Tsubai, the spectators reacted in alarm. Liu Yuxin immediately recognized the danger, warning that Zhang Xuan was shifting her target. Lin Yanren, watching anxiously, shouted for Tsubai to be careful. Zhang Xuan, confident in her strategy, lunged forward with her weapon, declaring Tsubai's defeat. However, Tsubai remained entirely unfazed, still sipping his soda as if the fight was nothing more than entertainment to him. At the last moment, something unexpected happened. Tsubai continued drinking, completely unbothered, as a sudden force intervened. Just as Zhang Xuan closed in for her final strike, Zyoba reacted instantly, swinging its massive tail with precision. The sudden counterattack sent shockwaves through the battlefield, forcing Zhang Xuan to retreat. The audience erupted in amazement at Zyoba's move, calling it a divine tail swipe. Lin Yanren and others breathed a sigh of relief, realizing how close that encounter had been. As the dust settled, it became clear the match was over. Tsubai had claimed another swift victory. The spectators were in disbelief at how quickly he had won again, while Liu Yuxin and the other instructors acknowledged Tsubai's true strength. Meanwhile, Zhang Xuan, now on the ground, seemed completely drained. However, instead of frustration, she simply muttered something unexpected. She was finally full. Tsubai casually stretched, commenting that Zyoba might have been a bit too rough this time. Without much concern, he told Zhang Xuan to go heal herself before turning his attention back to the competition. Meanwhile, Zhang Xuan, exhausted and lying on a stretcher, muttered weakly while Tsubai nonchalantly declared that he was finally going to get serious. With complete confidence, he stood alongside Zyoba, issuing a challenge to the remaining competitors who was brave enough to step up next. The crowd erupted as another opponent was sent crashing into the water, the large screen replaying the dramatic fall. Without hesitation, he called for the next challenger. His confidence was unshaken as another opponent fell before him, knocked down with ease. Amid the competition, Subai casually snapped a picture, flashing a grin while Zioba dealt another decisive blow, sending yet another fighter flying. Finally, the match concluded with the announcement of his victory. The referee raised his hand, declaring Jeongju Martial University's Subai as the winner. The audience erupted in disbelief and admiration as Subai dominated the match, effortlessly securing victory with Zioba at his side. Despite relying on his turtle companion, he had taken down 5 opponents in a row without breaking a sweat. Spectators were in awe, calling him both incredible and unorthodox. As chants of "one man, 5 wins" echoed through the arena, Subai couldn't help but feel amused and slightly puzzled. The way they phrased it made him feel more like the turtle in the fight rather than the actual fighter. After his impressive performance, officials and mentors approached him, praising his victory over the formidable King Shan Martial University. His success had brought great honor to Jeongju Martial University, and he humbly accepted the recognition. With the morning matches concluded, contestants were given time to rest and recover before the next round. The cafeteria was open to all, ensuring they could replenish their energy for the battles ahead. The competition was far from over, but for now, the fighters had earned a well-deserved break. As the competition continued, an announcement declared that food in the cafeteria was free of charge, much to the delight of the contestants. Meanwhile, in the Fuchuan Martial University lounge, the team strategized for their upcoming match. They anticipated facing Jeongju Martial University again, which meant they would likely go up against Subai. His tamed beast Zioba was nearly unbeatable in close combat, making them anxious about how to counter him. In another lounge, Zinmin Martial University was also preparing. Their coach reassured them that despite Subai's strength, he wasn't invincible. He had weaknesses that could be exploited. Their best chance to win was to find a way around Zioba's formidable defense and target Subai directly. Back in the arena, the announcer praised the fierce spirit and determination displayed by the students in the morning matches. With the first round complete, the second round of the competition was about to begin. Spectators marveled at Subai's dominance, some joking that the rest of Jeongju Martial University's team didn't even need to participate. With him alone, they believed he could defeat all the other schools. His teammates couldn't deny that having such a powerful ally was a great advantage. However, not everyone shared the same enthusiasm. A cautious observer reminded others that they were still in the provincial stage. Once Jeongju Martial University faced stronger opponents from outside the province, their overwhelming success might not continue. While the team had struggled for recognition in the past, Subai's presence now made their other members seem even more insignificant. As the excitement built up, the second round matchups were announced. Jeongju Martial University was set to face Zinmin Martial University, while other schools were also paired for their respective battles. In the first match of the round, Subai was chosen to fight against Lai Feng from Zinmin Martial University. As he stepped onto the stage, his opponent remained calm. Zinmin had anticipated this matchup and had already prepared a strategy specifically to counter Subai and his beast companion, Zioba. Subai leaned casually against Zioba, completely at ease as he watched his opponent. With a smug grin, he reassured Lai Feng not to be too nervous and promised the match would be over quickly. However, as soon as the battle began, Lai Feng refused to let Subai's arrogance go unchecked. He activated his ability, Clear Wind Step, allowing him to move at incredible speed. As a high-level bronze rank fighter and captain of Zinmin Martial University, he was determined to prove that Subai wasn't invincible. Using his swift movements, Lai Feng closed in, aiming to break through Zioba's formidable defense. Zioba, unfazed, braced itself as the attack approached. Whether Lai Feng's strategy would be enough to bypass its defense remained to be seen. Lai Feng moved swiftly, dodging Zioba's massive attack with ease, using his speed to create afterimages across the battlefield. With an opening in sight, he launched a powerful kick at the turtle's side, confident in his strategy. However, as his attack landed, reality struck. Zioba's defense was far too strong. Despite his speed and force, his attack barely made an impact. Shocked, he realized he couldn't even break through the beast's sturdy shell. Frustration set in as Zioba turned its head, seemingly unfazed by the attempt. Lai Feng had aimed for a weak point, but instead, he found himself facing an impenetrable defense. Spectators watched in surprise as Zioba struggled to land a hit on Lai Feng. Some laughed at how easily the Zinmin captain was provoking the turtle, making it angry and reckless. This unexpected development raised a question: if Lai Feng suddenly went after Subai, could he actually win? Excitement filled the stands as more people started cheering for Lai Feng. While some saw it as taking advantage of Xiaoba's dim-witted nature, others found the strategy entertaining. Lai Feng smirked, taunting the enraged turtle as he dodged its attacks. Meanwhile, the Jiangsu team observed the battle with concern. Liu Yuxin questioned why Subai wasn't making a move to counter this strategy. Instead of strategizing, he rummaged through his bag and finally found what he was looking for: a drink. Casually, he took a sip, remarking that his lunch had been too salty. As the audience continued cheering for Lai Feng, Subai stood calmly, drinking as if he wasn't even in a match. Lai Feng saw an opportunity. Subai was at a distance, seemingly vulnerable. He was confident that Xiaoba's attacks couldn't reach him from this range. Fueled by frustration, Lai Feng launched a powerful attack, accusing Subai of underestimating him. Frustrated by Subai's nonchalant attitude, Lai Feng launched himself into the air, determined to make him pay for his arrogance. Subai, still calm, simply called out to Xiaoba. Suddenly, glowing golden rings spread across the battlefield, catching Lai Feng off guard. In an instant, his body froze mid-air, unable to move. Panic set in as he struggled to understand what was happening. Subai, still sipping his drink, watched as Lai Feng flailed helplessly, Xiaoba radiating an overwhelming presence. Lai Feng was in disbelief. This was beyond what he had prepared for. Subai, unbothered as ever, casually told Xiaoba to stop playing around and finish the battle. Xiaoba unleashed its ultimate move, Black Tortoise Gravity, as the golden armored illusion roared to life. Panic took over as he desperately pleaded, realizing he had lost control of the situation. With a sudden burst of energy, the golden projection launched Lai Feng like a shooting star across the battlefield. The audience gasped as he was sent flying out of the arena at incredible speed, disappearing into the distance. A moment later, a loud crash echoed through the stadium. Spectators rushed to the edge to see where he had landed, only to find a smoking crater in the concrete. The audience was left in shock, but realization quickly set in: Lai Feng wasn't weak. Subai was simply too strong. Some even admitted that if they were in Lai Feng's place, they would have surrendered immediately. Fighting against Subai seemed like a hopeless battle. Meanwhile, Zinmin Martial University's staff assessed the situation. With Lai Feng badly injured and no chance of turning the tide, they had no choice but to give up. The principal sighed in resignation. There was no point in continuing the match. The official announcement confirmed it: Zinmin Martial University had forfeited. The competition moved on, but the next team to face Jiangsu Martial University had a difficult decision to make. When the matchup was revealed, Fuchuan Martial University shocked everyone by immediately forfeiting before even stepping onto the stage. Spectators were stunned. How could they surrender without even trying? With Zinmin Martial University forfeiting, Subai barely had to exert any effort. His teammates acknowledged that this gave him more time to prepare for the next match against Fuchuan Martial University. However, some questioned whether he even needed to conserve strength in the first place. Despite Subai's overwhelming power, they remained cautious. Fuchuan's captain was a poison-type user, which could pose a real challenge. As the match began, Xiaoba roared, ready to engage. But before the fight could even start, Fuchuan's captain, Mao Kai, suddenly called for a pause. Mao Kai openly admitted that he had no chance of defeating Subai. Rather than fighting a hopeless battle, he suggested making a deal instead. Subai, still unfazed and sipping his drink, barely reacted. Raising an eyebrow, he casually asked, "What deal?"